Welcome. I'm Andy Sheehan. I'm the town administrator for the town of Middleton, and I'm recording this video on March 3rd, 2021. Last week, we said goodbye to a longtime employee of the town. We had him on a couple of months ago to talk about his retirement plans. Chief Jim DiGianvittorio, Chief DG, wrapped up his career last Friday. We gathered at the station to say goodbye and show our appreciation for him. He gave us like 3.5 decades of his life. So we really appreciate the time he gave us, the dedication he showed to the town and its residents, and we wish him well. We know he'll be busy. He's, as many people know, he does catering on the side, and he's got some other interests too. He's threatening to get back on his boat, which he hasn't been on too much in the last couple of years. So hopefully he can get out and bother some fish and enjoy himself. So we're happy for Chief, and sad to see him go, but real happy for him. So we said goodbye to him on Friday, and then on Monday of this week, we welcomed our new police chief, Chief Bill Sampson. Chief Sampson comes to us from Windsor, Vermont, where he's been for about the last 7 years. The chief's been in law enforcement for better than 30 years. So he's got a wide range of experiences in a variety of different types of police organizations. And so we're happy to have him on, excited to have him on, and confident that he'll do a great job for us in the coming year. So we'll have him on and introduce him sometime in the coming weeks, so that we can put a face to the name or a face to the title. And it's a little hard with COVID for him to get out there and to meet people like he would in a normal time. So we'll do what we can to make his presence known and give everybody a chance to meet him, at least in a virtual way. So we have a lot going on. It's always a busy time of year, and this year is no different. COVID adds a little bit to it, but it's plenty busy anyways. And so some things are busier than normal, and some things are less busy than they would normally be. But we're in the middle of budget season right now. Our last video included a discussion with Chief Financial Officer Sarah Wood about the operating budget, and we held an operating budget summit on February 6th, Saturday, February 6th, and that was with the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen and the finance team and department heads. And we'll hold another one this Saturday on March 6th, also at 8:30 a.m., also on Zoom. If you're interested in watching or participating in that, you can get the Zoom link off of the town's website at www.middletonma.gov. Just go to the agenda center, open up the agenda, and you can grab the Zoom link off of that and join the meeting. Again, starts at 8:30, lasts probably until midday, early afternoon, something like that. So it, like most years, it lasts as long as it needs to last until we wrap up our work. With respect to the operating budget that we talked about with Sarah Wood a couple of weeks ago, that budget stands now at about $38.8 million. And we're still fine tuning that. It's not quite complete. There's a few moving parts to that, but we'll wrap that up over the next 3 weeks. We'll put the finishing touches on that. So it's a long process. We start in earnest in December, and but the budgeting process really is a 12-month affair. So it never really stops, even as Sarah said. Once the budget's adopted and the new year starts, we're always keeping an eye on things, and she's always keeping an eye on how spending is going and how revenues are flowing in. So the meeting Saturday, we'll talk a little bit about the operating budget, and we'll speak most particularly about the capital budget for the coming fiscal year 22, which begins on July 1. And the capital budget focuses on capital items. Capital items are acquisitions or one-time purchases with a value of $5,000 or more and a useful life of 5 years or more. So it's building improvements. It would be buildings. And I'll talk a little bit about that in a minute. Vehicles, we've got some technology acquisitions on there. And so kind of runs the gamut of, like I said, generally one-time acquisitions, one-time purchases. The capital budget that will be discussed this week by the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee comes in at about $1.3 million. It's about $200,000 less than last year. And that's not for any particular reason other than it's just the needs of the departments this year. They're a little bit less than they've been in past years. I did mention buildings. One thing that we're not counting in the total capital budget that we're talking about, although we will be talking about it, is the public facilities project at 105 South Main Street. We'll talk about that in upcoming videos. We'll talk about it on Saturday as well, and that project will replace the fire station, police station, Council on Aging, and Memorial Hall, and it will replace them with 2 combined buildings. So there'll be a combined public safety building, the police and fire building, and there'll be a combined community center and town hall. The project comes in at $61.7 million, which is a startling number, and we get that, and it's up to us to explain why that makes sense and why that's necessary and how we're going to responsibly pay for that. And we'll do that we'll do that in the future. Have one of these videos will focus on that. The Master Development Planning Committee, which has been working for just about the last 2 years on this project, has started going around to stakeholder groups and other constituencies to talk about the project and answer questions and provide information. And that project will be on the annual town meeting this spring. So the capital budget and the operating budget will also be on the annual town meeting, and we'll have a full agenda of things to talk about. With respect to the budget, and then I'll jump over to town meeting. With respect to the operating and the capital budgets, we do have, as I said, the meeting this Saturday at 8:30 via Zoom with the Finance Committee and the Board of Selectmen. We then have a third meeting on March 25th at 7 p.m. That's a Thursday evening. And that is the formal budget hearing that is held every year and that is called for by the town charter. And it's again on the 25th. By then, we hope to have most of the budget items wrapped up. We do have another date penciled in at the beginning of April if we need it in order to put the finishing touches on. But by March 25th, we'll be in good shape, and we'll pretty much know with pretty good certainty where the spending plans lie for the year. So so that's it for updates. Like I said, we'll talk in the future about the public facilities project. We'll have Chief Sampson in to talk about his how his initial start here in Middleton has been, and what he's got planned for the force going forward. So, and then we'll talk about town meeting at one of these videos, and we'll talk probably dovetail that with a discussion about the components that go into approving the facilities project, which is really a two-part approval process. It's a town meeting approval, and it is a ballot vote approval. So lots coming up, and like I said, it's a busy time of year, and it's good. It keeps us engaged and active. So switching topics, I always share with you a quote that seems appropriate at the moment, and I was on social media recently, and I was surprised, or I wasn't surprised. I was it just kind of grabbed me, some of the comments that people were making, and a lot of it was from friends of mine and people that I know well, and real, it's sort of nastier than it needed to be, and it just kind of grabbed me that day, and I thought, I know this person, I know these people, and they wouldn't say that to these other people if they were in a face-to-face conversation. And so I think it, maybe every now and again, we need to be reminded to, watch what we say. Sometimes the better choice is not say anything. So that brings me to today's quotes, and I have quotes from two different individuals. First is from Will Rogers, an American icon, actor, vaudevillian, humorist, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. His quote is, "Never miss a good chance to shut up," which I think is, enough said, right? The other one comes from Eric Clapton, and Eric Clapton's he's been a fixture in the rock and roll scene for 50 years or so, from his early days in British blues, and he's still making music, although not as frequently as he used to. But and his quote is, "Unless you know what you're talking about, you should keep your mouth shut." And I think, obviously neither one of them was talking about social media. Certainly Will Rogers wasn't. And but I share their sentiment. I think sometimes we just need to look at these statements on social media and go, yeah, that's his opinion. So anyways, don't mean to get preachy, just kind of grabbed me that way. I hope today's video was helpful and informative. Please email me with any topics that you'd like to see me talk about in the future. We've got plenty of things to talk about, like I said earlier. So, but if you have ideas, you can email me at andrew.sheehan@middletonma.gov. If you want to join the budget meeting on Saturday, or any other meeting, you can do it all through Zoom these days, for a while longer anyways. You can get agendas at middletonma.gov, at the town's website. Just go into the calendar, the agenda center, and you can get the links off of any of the meetings that are coming up. We post at least 48 hours in advance, and oftentimes longer than that. So thanks to Adam Stone from Middleton Public Access for recording and producing today's video, as he always does. Thank you for watching. And until I see you again, be safe and be well.